Hello and welcome everyone. I'm here to present our paper Exli, an inline test generation tool for Java. In the current levels of test granularity, unit tests have the highest granularity and are used to test at the method level. Followed by this, we have the integration tests, which are used to test at the module level. And finally, we have the end-to-end tests, which are used to test at the system level. But what if we wanted to test a single statement inside a method? In that effort, we introduced inline tests which have statement level granularity. The following example showcases inline tests. We see that the target statement contains an index of method that is invoked on field. The following two inline tests first start by assigning the string value to field and then asserting on the value of index based on the value that is stored in the variable EQ. Because in the first inline test, the value that is stored in EQ, that is the equals character, is absent in the string value, the index is expected to be -1. But however, in the second case, since it's present, we find it at index 8. So we see that inline tests are particularly useful in testing programs at statement level. So what if we could automatically extract inline tests from code under test? In that effort, we introduce Exli. Exli starts off by being provided with code under test, which then passes through a target statement finder block, which identifies target statements to be tested, followed by a variables finder, which identifies all the variables that appear in the context of the target statement, which is then followed up by instrumenter, which instruments this code under test so that the values of these variables at runtime can be collected, followed by which the unit tests are executed by the executor and the runtime values of the variables that appear in the context of the target statement are collected by the collector. This then passes through a coverage reducer, which tries to remove redundant inline tests, followed by which they're passed to an inline test constructor, which finally generates the inline test. Now we see that there are two types of inline tests that are generated. The Exli base inline tests, which are basically the ones which are not removed by the coverage reducer block, and then we have the Exli coverage inline tests, which contain basically inline tests that have been reduced and removed by the coverage reducer block. We will now demonstrate the usage of Exli. First, we start by cloning the repository, followed by which the instructions to execute and run these inline tests are basically provided in the README. So we start off by first building a Docker image. Once it's built, we run the Docker image, followed by which we create a Python environment named Exli. We then activate the Python environment Exli through conda activate, followed by which we run the Python script to identify the target statement. Once the script completes, we then run the Python script to generate and extract the inline tests. Once the inline tests have been generated, we can then use the same Python script to execute these inline tests. The generated inline tests are present in the results reduced ITS report folder. And we see a summary of the number of tests that failed, passed. Thank you.